Like so many of your films, Harry Potter evokes a certain emotion for me, and I think a lot of people. What does it feel like for you to watch the film when it comes on and look back on it 20 years later?
You know, I have not seen the entire film screened since I went to to opening day back when it came out. And I've seen it a billion times on television, but I'll always watch one scene and I'll say to myself, oh, I should have done this, I should have done this, and then I'll turn it to a different station. It's just remarkable to me because we designed the film. Our mantra for the crew was, let's make something timeless. Let's make something that when people are watching this 15, 20 years from now, it feels as if it might have been made yesterday. Now, obviously, visual effects have come a little further, so there are certain things that can't make it completely timeless, but I think that's part of it. You know, I wanted audiences who watch it on television to say, geez, what year was this shot? Was it 1956? Was it 1984? You know, I wanted that sort of confusion in a good way, which is like, I see The Wizard of Oz and I'm not comparing it to The Wizard of Oz, but I'm saying I get that sense from The Wizard of Oz. Like, what year was this?
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of elements that make it feel that way. One being John Williams. And I have to know, when you first heard Hedwig's theme, did you pass out? Like, what was your reaction when he was like,
well,
it's one of the greatest themes of all time?
I was fortunate enough to work with John on Home Alone.
Right.
So when I heard that theme, I almost passed out. But when I heard the Potter theme, John played it for me on the piano. So, you know, he just plunked out dun 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 dun. And I thought, this is the guy. You know, I always knew it was the guy who did Raiders and Star Wars and E.T. and Jaws, but he's done another iconic theme. And I'm the recipient, you know. I mean, it's one of those great geek moments for a guy who loves movies. I was like, oh my God, I can't imagine what the rest of the score was gonna be like. And then the rest of the score was equally astounding.
Ugh, just tears in my eyes. I was watching the movie last night, and one of my favorite things that makes me laugh harder than anything is at the end when Dumbledore tells Slytherin in front of them that they won the House Cup, and then it's like, he's like, you guys won second place because I'm giving points to Gryffindor.
Right.
I think that's so funny.
Which is, by the way, it's inherent to who Richard Harris was, even though it was written that way in the book.
Yeah.
That's who Richard Harris was. I mean, he was the ultimate prankster. That's why his Dumbledore to me is so great, because it's something he would have done. Richard had this devilish look in his eyes. You never knew what he was going to say or do. And he was capable of outrageous behavior.
There's so many good moments with him. And so there are some somewhat infamous trivia facts about this movie that I would love to hear your anecdotes on. So one being that J.K. Rowling told Alan Rickman these like vital details regarding Snape's arc in the future books and things like that kind of helped him kind of craft this character. And I was curious if there was anything revealed to you about future stories that you were able to incorporate in the first two Harry Potters.
No, I mean, the Snape situation happened, you know, at dinner, I think. So Alan learned all this information and he's sworn to secrecy, so he couldn't even tell that. You'd think she may have told the director, but I guess he needed to know. And it really didn't affect anything in terms of what I had to do, except in certain scenes, Alan would do these little idiosyncratic things, like things with his acting. And I'd asked him, I'd say after the take, why did you choose to do that? And he'd say, you'll know after you read book 7. But I was like, well, that's a few years down the road. But I loved what he was doing, even though I didn't know why. And I kept it in the movie. And then finally, when I did read book 7, a light bulb went off and I said, that's why he did that. And that's why he did that. So that was great. We learned little things here and there, but not enough to really affect. The biggest thing we needed to know, because there were only 3 books, is how dark the series was going to get. That was Joe Rowling's intention from the beginning. So we knew we were designing film 1 as almost this storybook, welcome to Hogwarts, with a little bit of darkness. But we knew that when we got to Chamber of Secrets, it was going to get darker. Azkaban was going to get darker. And so that was the design of the films from day one.
Like the whole cast has just glowed up so much. Like it's just incredible watching them. Like what is it like for you seeing these kids that you knew when they were so young and like kind of what they're doing now?
Well, we cast the film, having done Home Alone with Macaulay Culkin, who had only done one small part in a film prior to that, I realized you get this real naturalistic, honest quality. You don't have a kid who's done 17 years of Nickelodeon TV shows. You've got someone who's bringing some naturalistic, realistic performance to the set, and that's why we cast Dan, Rupert, and Emma, and quite frankly, all the other kids as well, because they brought a freshness to the franchise, which we didn't know was going to be a franchise at the time. But it also was fraught with a lot of chaos because the first months of the movie, these kids were just so happy to be in a Harry Potter movie, on a Harry Potter set, dressed as these characters, that they would say a line, look into the camera and smile, wave, look to each other like, even though it's not part of the scene, can you believe we're here? So it became an exercise for me. I became an acting teacher, which, by the way, is what a director has to do anyway, but this was pure, full-on acting 101. And through the course of the first movie, and by the time we got to the middle of the second movie, the kids had grown into really strong actors. And that just continued to happen over the years. And you can see it in the films. They all became great actors.
I read that you had passed on directing SpiderMan to direct Harry Potter. Is that true?
Yeah.
That's like a wild thing to me because that is a butterfly effect of just two major franchises. Like there's an alternate universe here.
It is weird because, I'm of firm belief that every movie ever made would be better with Spider-Man in it. There's no question. So, how good would The Godfather be if Spider-Man showed up? The reason I got into movies as a kid was because of Marvel Comics, because that's what I wanted to do. And Spider-Man was my hero as a kid. So when I really probably heard the day before I got the Spider-Man offer that I got Harry Potter, whoever it was like, is he crazy? How could he pass up Spider-Man? And part of me felt that way because it's probably something I was waiting my entire life to do. But I'm glad I decided to go with Potter. I'm happy about that.
What if that opportunity came up again?
Oh, if I had to choose?
Like Spider-Man comes up again, comes your way.
I think it's been done really well. You don't need me to do Spider-Man.
Maybe we do, Chris. Maybe we do.
I don't know.
Well, thank you so much. That's my time, but such a pleasure to talk to you. Really cool stories.
Thank you so much. That's fun.
Thanks. Take care.